Thanks to my YouTube channel, I believe a community of chess players is forming, and I love to hear from them to give me feedbacks. But in this case, guys, I discovered that one of my subscribers actually had a game published in this book. Now, the game is not played between grandmasters, and for me that's even more valuable. The game has mistakes, and again it's even more valuable. Why? Because the reality is that 99% of the players are average club players, they are not grandmasters, and so it doesn't make any sense to continue to compare ourselves to grandmasters and watch only grandmaster games. I also want to tell you that if you really want to watch great games, you can watch in your computer. You can play, make two engines play against each other. In my case, I have a computer that is a i9 12th generation, 32 or 64 gigabyte of RAM. I know that when they also play bullet 1 minute, they reach a depth of 20 moves, 20 or more moves. In reality it's a little more, okay? In any case, the game I want to present you today is from section 9 of this book, that, as you can see, has an interesting way to give you the pawn formation that you should know, and the main ideas. And the game is from here, yes, this one is between Jesus de Pinto Ana Vittoria, rated 1632, and David Borenstein, rated 1872. David Borenstein is the subscribers that I was talking about. So I hope I pronounce his name right. If not, forgive me. I know it's difficult because we all come from different places, right? In any case, e4, b6, d4, e6, c4. Wow, white is really going for trying to get all the center. d6, knight c3, and bishop b7. He starts to attack the center from the flank, and this is the ideas of the hyper-modern school of chess, which was formed in the 1920s, around that time, between Nintsovich, Reti, and other players like Tartakova, right? Knight f3 and knight d7, bishop e2, g6. As you can see, black is playing a system, right? He's playing a pawn structure that he wants to achieve, and so is not based on memory. Castle, bishop g7, bishop g5, knight e7, and queen d2. Queen d2 is kind of very interesting because is practically giving a problem to black. The problem is that if black castle right now, white will play this and exchange the bishops, and then eventually start to attack, okay? So you cannot castle at this point because it would be a mistake. Try to think what you would play. As you can see, also a game played between 1600, 1800 rated players can be very instructive if we stop for a second and think what is the next move that black should play. In this case, black played h6, which makes sense, right? Okay, and now the bishop must go back, and a6. So practically, as you can see, all the pawns, nearly all the pawns are on the 4th rank or 6th rank, and so they are making it impossible for white to jump forward. What does this mean? This means that white will have to create a break there, somewhere, in order to go through. Rook c1, knight f6, and now there is e5. And here the author of the book writes, white advances, but it doesn't look convincing. Okay, knight g4, e takes d6, c takes d6, and bishop f4. And black maybe mechanically try to take control of the file with rook c8. Instead, here the author says that at this point g5 was interesting, and gives a line to explain which kind of compensation black could have if he played this move. Again, please, in some cases I don't put all the lines, but maybe in this case I think it could be interesting to see it, because it will open your mind to what to do if you are white in this kind of situation. And this is a kind of very interesting move that I think not many players would play. Definitely the 1600 rate player wouldn't play. The move is bishop takes g5, h takes g5. So why I say the 1600 rated player doesn't play it? Because he will not open a file on the h file to attack his own, right? But this situation is kind of scary, because the king is still in the center, this file is semi-open, so can you really castle on that side? I don't know, it's kind of complicated, right? So queen takes g5, and now black must play a very strong move, because as you can see there is this, it's a mess, right? The strong move is this, bishop takes f3. I don't know, I don't think in a tournament game but it would be interesting to listen this friend from that is watching my videos, what was passing in his mind, if he thought of that thing. And after this there is this, and of course there is bishop takes a8, and here there is this move at this point, because you need to defend this, right? And at this point white plays this to avoid this and loses the bishop. And here it says with lots of compensation. Now it depends if you like to play this kind of dangerous situations. I don't know if you like it. Yes, it's with lot of compensation. If you don't like to play this kind of imbalance, probably is not a good idea. Now let me go back to the original position. I wanted to see this line because I was curious how it would continue, and in fact it was a mess. Okay, I believe I put the position like it was, and here black, instead of playing g5, played rook c8, to which followed b3, knight f6, rook f e1, and knight h5, bishop e3, and knight f6 again. As you can see, black is kind of passive and is not doing anything, because maybe the spirit of the opening is not to do anything, is to ask the question to white, what are you going to do? And I can tell you that it can lead some players into huge mistakes because they want to attack at all cost, and that is the problem, right? I think it happened also in the fourth match between Karpov and Kasparov in 1985, right? That Kasparov was attacking, and he was losing game after game after game. When he started to stop attacking, take a breath and relax a little, he started to score some wins, because he needed to adjust to his opponent's style, right? So here the author says black maneuvers with a knight only, perhaps indirectly offering a strategic repetition of moves. So how did white continue? Knight a4. I don't know, it seems out of the game right here. Knight d7, opening the diagonal and maybe redirecting the pieces on the queen side. And here there is a dubious move, which is the following: c5. Here it says white doesn't agree to this and takes the initiative, but will end up with a worse pawn structure. Again, as I said, it's a problem. Sometimes in this kind of systems, if you try to break, you need to know where to break and how. Okay, here black continue with knight f5, c takes d6, and knight take d6. And here the evaluation is equal or slightly better for white. Here it says white has more activity, but in the long run will stand worse because of the isolated d-pawn. And if you remember, guys, I published some videos about the isolated d-pawn, so it's clearly one of the most important things that you can learn about. Try to watch those videos, and maybe more videos will be done, because I'm not saying that I'm perfect, far from it, and I need to learn it too, because a few years ago when I was playing against the isolated d-pawn, sometimes I lost because I couldn't understand how to stop it, how to play against it. And so clearly something we must all learn about, right? Okay, how does white continue? Here he continue with bishop f4, knight e4, queen d3, and here there is castle. So finally black castle. This is not a silly thing, because if you think, guys, white had a kind of rook over there on the e-file, and maybe should have found a way to open the position when the enemy king was in the center. Here white continue with rook takes e8, queen takes e8, rook c1, and queen e8. So black is starting to aim at this diagonal, which means that probably he will try to break through. Rook c7, and here it's kind of interesting too, because white is getting control of the 7th rank, which is part of Nimzovich principles, right? Because it says the 7th rank, it's very, very important, and it is. But if you have something that you are attacking, if you don't have nothing, I don't know if it really helps, right? In this case, black goes back, knight f6. and white start to go forward. Knight e5, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5, and here there is knight d5. Interesting move. Interesting move. Okay. So white continue with bishop takes g7, king takes g7, and rook c1. Sometimes, guys, I pause a second because, as you can see, the author didn't tell us one thing. For example, when the knight went to d5 and then they exchanged the bishops, why the author didn't tell us was it possible to take this, yes or no? And probably it wasn't a good idea, maybe because it was taken back there, I don't know, but that should have been something interesting to comment on. Of course, this is a book about opening, and so the guy is showing you all the opening, but maybe the middle game and the end game is not always so interesting. In any case, it says that the computer assesses this as equal. In practical play, the side with isolated pawn generally loses. Okay, so the isolated pawn loses. Here it says the rest is of low quality with blunders on both sides. Well, it's not really the low quality, it's the real life experience, right? I mean, this is how real chess is played, because we are not computers. Knight f4, so he's attacking here, clearly, and this is should have been explained why that theme, that move is wrong, right? Queen e3, and here it says knight takes g2 is a blunder. Why it's a blunder? It says black wrongly goes for the attack instead of the endgame. Okay. Queen e5, king h7, and knight takes b6. But the thing is, black maybe was trying to go for the attack because he thinks that the goal of the game is to give checkmate, not to go into the endgame, right? So that's the point here. And I'm not saying that black is right. Black is surely wrong. If the FIDE master that wrote this book says that he is right, but again, in the middle of the game we don't have the evaluation bar and we don't have engine assistance, so you know it's very really easy, you know, with hindsight or with engine assistance to say that move is totally wrong. Yeah, okay, thank you. Queen d8, you see how beautiful is this idea, right? Because yes, he attacks this, but he also tries to reposition the queen for the attack, I think. And it seems that, of course, rook c7 would won a piece because it overloads the bishop b7. Yeah, okay. But luckily Caissa answered black prayers and white make a mistake playing knight c4, to which followed knight h4, knight d2, knight f5, knight e4, he wants to go here, obviously bishop takes e4 because this is a very active knight, queen takes e4, and now there is the last move of the game, which is queen g5. Why queen g5 is great? Because it's a double attack that attacks the rook c1 and the king at the same time. And so this is the real chess that I was talking about. I really thank this subscriber for letting me know that he had a game inside this book. I honestly enjoyed the game very much, and so guys, I tell you, if you have also other games that you want to send me to see, and maybe we can make a video, I will be very happy, because honestly we all watch top chess, okay, top level chess, but these guys are continuously playing against each other. Magnus against Icarus against Alireza, and so on and so forth. I'm saying at a certain point it becomes a little boring, right? I prefer to see games from real people than the same 10 players over and over and over, because would you watch the same movie 100 times? No. So guys, let's watch our games that we can enjoy more, right? And honestly, I'm very happy that he showed me this game. Thank you very much for pointing it out. I'm really happy about that. Thank you for watching the video, and see you next time.